Hello everyone, welcome back to Chill Deal Trades, where I give the exclusive on the market, breaking down both the technicals and fundamentals of stocks so we can all make some money. Today we'll be covering NNDM, Nano Dimensions. So if you find anything beneficial in the video, please like and subscribe. We're slowly growing the community and family, so every subscription, sub to the channel makes the videos a little bit better, gives me more time to work on things. So a sub is much appreciated. But let's jump right into things. So Nano Dimensions, NNDM, was a stock that first got popular because Cathie Woods became super bullish on it, and she eventually started buying up a buttload of shares of the company. And we saw, a price action from about $1 all the way to $17 over the course of 4 or 5 months leading into February. And then, like much of the early growth tech stocks, we saw it sell off from February basically to May, and we're starting to see an uptick. And so what we want to look at today is where are the areas of resistance and support, and what do we need to do to continue this uptrend? And so the first thing I want to look at is this bullish flag, I'll call. So typically what a bull flag is you see an upward momentum, and then you kind of see like a downward kind of angle, and then a breakout. And so when we look at this kind of area right here, as we see an uptrend, we see kind of this like flag kind of formation and then a breakout today. So that's a really bullish indicator leading into the future, maybe the next few weeks or something. That's really positive. What we want to be, what we want to key in on is on this bull flag break. We also saw a breakout above the most recent high a couple weeks ago, which was at, let's see the price, $8.42. And so we also broke above that level. So we have a couple really big positives moving into the future. What I would really actually like to see on the stock is a back test. So on the daily candles, when you see a stock, I'll draw a little thing for you. When we see a stock go up and it comes back down and tests that breakout zone, that typically shows that this stock wants to change trends and directions, especially when we see that on the daily candle. And so I hope we see something like this. Let me draw it again. See something like this, a back test, and then hopefully we kind of continue to see upward momentum and break out of the long-term downtrend. But we'll get to that in a second. So those are a couple things I would like to see more in the short term. We're also coming up pretty close to the 100-day simple moving average. So I have two moving averages. I have the 100-day exponential moving average and the 100-day simple moving average. So the exponential moving average weighs more of the more recent price action, and that's why the red line, which is exponential, is lower. And that's a positive that we broke out of the flag. Today we broke out of the recent high right here, and we're above the 100-day exponential moving average. But we are coming up on the 100-day simple moving average, which is at about $9.05. And so I'm gonna call it this is gonna be the first area of major resistance for the stock. Typically the 50-day, the 100-day, and the 200-day are the areas with the most resistance when prices are moving upwards. So we're gonna watch out for that price action. If we get a lot of volume tomorrow, something I would like to see is maybe a continuation up, testing that 100-day, coming back and back testing the breakout, and then moving higher. That's kind of what I would say is a best case scenario as we're seeing this overall trend reversal for the stock. If we continue to move higher, something to be really conscious of is in the past, I'm drawing all over the place. In the past, we've seen a lot of accumulation in the $8 to $10 range. And so when you have accumulation in the past, whatever happens in the past rhymes with what might happen in the future. And so as we're moving forward, we're going to need to continue to see consistent and higher than average volume to kind of push out of this really high past accumulation zone. And so that's somewhere between the $8 and $10 range. Obviously we're at about just below $9, $8.50 a share right now. So moving up all the way probably till $10-ish, we're going to have a lot of resistance because of all the past accumulation. When you have past accumulation, that means that people are holding shares there. And so you got to think about the mentality of an investor. So say they bought shares back here in March. They've been holding on from shares at $9 since March. And so now that the price has finally gotten back to that price that they own at, they're going to start considering if I should if they should sell their shares. And so in that stage, you're going to start seeing some people unload shares. And so we need more buying volume to continue to push through all that selling. So $8 to $10 range is going to be a really important resistance area that we need to break out into to continue this long-term reversal. That was a sentence. A couple things to keep an eye on if we do start going lower. So I would say there is kind of a range of support. The chart is a little messy because, as you can see, there's a lot of back and forth action. There's a lot of volatility because this company is a lot smaller. And so I would say anywhere between the $8.42 or $8.42 to about $7.50. If we stay in that, if we break back down and stay in that range, that's a potential buy zone. If we break below that $7.50, you might want to consider holding off. And the reason is if we break down to about $7.50, we're also breaking below this more recent uptrend line. And so if we see a break below the support zone and the upward trend line, that could start showing that we might have potentially peaked in the short term on this upward movement. So let me say that again, about $8.50 to $7.50 is a dip buy zone, but if we go any lower, especially under the trend line, you might want to consider setting a stop loss and maybe getting out of profits if you have any. More long-term speaking, what we really want to see is we want to see this upwards trend line hold, and sometime over the next few weeks, we really need to see this long-term trend line. As you can see, it maps all the way back from the high. We really want to break above this. This is going to be a true sign as if we've seen a more big picture break of the downturn or the downward momentum, because we're seeing a lot of small things say there's more momentum picking up, there's more momentum, but we're in a range where we're now past consolidation zone and we're coming up on a long-term downward trend line. So I would be keeping an eye on this. Just draw two trend lines like that and kind of see it coming into the edge of that triangle, sideways triangle. And if we break out, we could then potentially push past the $10 mark. And if we push past the $10 mark, my price target, I would say over the next few months, is somewhere going to be between the $11.50 and the $12 range if we can break above this long-term downtrend mark. So those are a couple things to look at. The last thing I want to say is if we do get a pretty significant pullback, say over the next few weeks, instead of trending back upwards, the $7 range is about where the bottom of my potential buy would be if we get that low. Because what we see is we see a lot of support. We see a lot of accumulation around $7 here. We have a bounce off $7 here. We have a bounce off $7 here. And so if we break below $7, that's going to probably say this is not an investment opportunity at this time, as it potentially double bottom or end up going lower heading into more of the second half of the year. So that's I thought that was a pretty awesome analysis of the stock. I hope you found something beneficial. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I want to know what you think. Do you think this stock is heading to 11, 12 bucks in the future, or do you think there's more downside? Please let me know. Thank you for stopping by. Hopefully I see you again.